Hey, Lennon, I think I'm going to wait until interest rates drop to about 3% before I buy. Hey, Lennon, I wish I had bought my home back when interest rates were about 3%. I'm going to tell you a story here, and this story is going to illustrate why rates are not everything, and the buyer who bought at 3% interest rates may have ended up losing more money than buyer 2 who bought at the higher interest rate. Picture this. It's 2021. Buyer 1 finds a house that he falls in love with. It's listed for $500,000, but there's 12 other buyers who fell in love with this home too. Buyer 1 decides he has to win, so he bids $550,000 for the home, and he gets it. In addition to overpaying for the home, he had to put in an appraisal gap that ended up costing him $25,000, and he had to waive his inspection, and there was about $10,000 worth of repairs that needed to be done to the home once he moved in. Now, he puts 20% down on a loan that has a wonderful 3% interest rate. He is so stoked. He thinks he got a great deal because he has the low interest rate. So at closing, buyer 1 has to bring $135,000 to the table. That's the down payment and the $25,000 appraisal gap. In addition, remember, he has about $10,000 worth of repairs he's going to have to do on that home before it's livable. That's a total of about $145,000 that buyer 1 is bringing to the table to buy that home. Now let's fast forward 5 years. Buyer 1 has to sell the home. The market's cooled off a little bit and the home sells for $485,000. After real estate fees, closing costs, and everything else that goes into selling a home, buyer 1 walks away from the closing table with $55,000 in his pocket. Remember, his initial investment was $145,000. So he lost about $90,000 on this transaction. Now we're at buyer 2. Buyer 2 is the one who bought this house. It was listed at $500,000, but because of the market, he was able to negotiate a fantastic deal. He got 15 grand off the asking price, so it was $485,000. He also got about $10,000 in inspection items repaired. And on top of that, he was able to negotiate seller concessions for a 2-1 rate buy down. That means his original 6.5% interest rate was 4.5% the first year, 5.5% the second year. As the market continued to progress, he was able to refinance after about 3 years to an awesome 5.5% interest rate. Now fast forward, it's 5 years later. Buyer 2 decides to sell the home. He sells the home for $500,000. After real estate fees, closing costs, buyer 2 ends up getting a check in his pocket for about $97,000. He breaks even. So here's the real comparison. While buyer 1 had a lower interest rate, he ended up losing significantly more money than he brought to the closing table. Buyer 2, who had a much higher interest rate, ended up breaking even at the closing table from start to finish. So what does that tell you? It tells you that interest rates are only part of the game and that negotiating a good contract with good leverage is absolutely critical, can end up saving you a heck of a lot of money when it comes to reselling your home. So let me ask you this. Would you rather be buyer 1 with that lower interest rate who paid over asking price, had to have an appraisal gap and didn't get the repairs and the inspections fixed? Or would you rather be buyer 2, had the higher interest rate but negotiated a much stronger deal and at closing ended up breaking even for what they brought when they paid for it? Let me know what you think down in the comments. I would love to hear your opinion.